In the hallways of the prestigious Agricultural University of Arizona, Ethan Mitchell stood out among the other students, but not in the way he would have liked. With his worn denim shirt, dusty boots, and a rural accent from the depths of Oklahoma, he seemed out of place among wealthy young people who showed off their latest cell phone models and vacations in Europe. Whispers followed him like shadows. "Look at the country boy," whispered Olivia Reynolds, heiress to one of the most important bourbon companies in Kentucky, while her friends stifled poorly disguised laughter. Ethan pretended not to hear, his eyes fixed on the ground as he walked to his next class. It wasn't ignorance that kept him quiet in the face of mockery, but a carefully calculated strategy. Professor Thompson formed teams for the first semester project on sustainable irrigation systems. As expected, Ethan was the last choice. Olivia, designated as her group's leader, didn't hide her displeasure when the professor assigned the hick to her team. "Look, Ethan," Olivia said during the first meeting at a coffee shop near campus, "we'll handle the research and presentation. You can, I don't know, talk about how they water the cornfields in your town or something like that." Tyler Morgan, son of an avocado exporter from California, burst out laughing. "That's if they know how to use anything more than buckets on his farm." Ethan simply nodded, his eyes hiding a glint of determination. "Whatever you say." During the following weeks, while the team barely made progress between parties and social commitments, Ethan worked silently. The night before the presentation, he sent a complete document to the group. A detailed analysis of drip micro-irrigation systems adapted to semi-arid regions, with comparisons of water efficiency and environmental impact analysis. Olivia read it in disbelief. "Where did you get this? Did you copy it from the internet?" "I wrote it," Ethan replied simply. "I've implemented these systems on several occasions." On the day of the presentation, Professor Thompson was so impressed that he asked Ethan to explain the project. To the amazement of the class, the young man from Oklahoma spoke with surprising eloquence about water cycles, climate patterns, and cutting-edge irrigation technologies. "This work deserves to be published in our university journal," the professor declared. "Congratulations to the team, especially to you, Mr. Mitchell." The faces of Olivia and Tyler transformed between shame and confusion. How was it possible that this quiet boy, with his simple clothes and provincial accent, had such mastery of the subject? Curiosity began to grow among the students. Jason Carter, an older student who had returned to the university after caring for his sick father, was the first to genuinely approach Ethan. "Hey, do you want to grab a coffee? Your presentation was impressive," he said one afternoon after classes. Ethan hesitated but finally accepted. In the campus coffee shop, between sips of black coffee, he began to open up shyly. "I come from a family that has worked the land for generations," he explained. "My grandfather used to say that we must learn from the land before we learn from books." Their conversation was interrupted by a phone call. Jason watched in amazement as the shy Ethan transformed, speaking with authority about international shipments of agricultural products, negotiating terms with an export company, and giving precise instructions to someone about managing a logistical crisis. "Sorry," Ethan said as he hung up. "Family matters." Jason tried to inquire further, but Ethan skillfully diverted the conversation. That night, driven by curiosity, Jason looked for Ethan on social media. He found nothing. No profiles, no photos, no digital trace. A mystery in the age of overexposure. "It's strange," Jason commented to other classmates days later. "It's as if he doesn't exist outside the university." Speculations began to circulate. Some suggested he was the son of a hidden drug trafficker, others that he worked for some agricultural multinational as a spy. The theories only increased the aura of mystery around Ethan, who continued his quiet routine, excelling in every exam and practical work while maintaining his low profile. As the semester progressed, the enigma of Ethan Mitchell grew. And soon, a field trip to a model ranch in Oklahoma would reveal the first of many truths that would leave everyone speechless. The university bus advanced along the Oklahoma highway between corn and sorghum fields that stretched to the horizon. The agronomy students chatted animatedly about the visit to the prestigious Valley Crest Ranch, internationally recognized for its sustainable agricultural practices and innovative technology applied to farming. They say they have the most advanced vertical farming system in North America, Tyler commented enthusiastically, momentarily forgetting his disdain for Ethan, who remained quiet by the window, observing the landscape with an indecipherable expression. I also heard that the owning family is extremely private, added Olivia. Almost no one knows the current heir. Jason, seated behind Ethan, noticed how he sketched a slight smile upon hearing these comments. After 4 hours of travel, the bus crossed an imposing stone portal with the Mitchell-Wilson family crest carved in stone. Our path, flanked by peach and walnut trees, led to a colonial-style ranch house, majestic but sober, surrounded by ultra-modern agricultural facilities that contrasted with the traditional architecture. At the main entrance, a group of workers in impeccable uniforms waited to receive the visitors. Among them, an older woman of distinguished appearance gave precise instructions. "Welcome to Valley Crest Ranch," the woman greeted when the group descended from the bus. "I'm Mrs. Eleanor Wilson, Public Relations Director. Our Chief Agricultural Engineer will give you the tour today." As if it were an apparition, Ethan emerged from the main house. He no longer wore his usual worn clothes, but a perfectly tailored beige linen suit. His posture had completely changed, straight, confident, with a natural authority that left his companions momentarily paralyzed. "Good morning, Professor Thompson," Ethan greeted, extending his hand. "Welcome to our ranch." A sepulchral silence fell over the group. Olivia stifled a cry. Tyler visibly paled. "Ethan," stammered the professor, as surprised as his students. "Do you work here?" Mrs. Wilson intervened with a proud smile. "Allow me to formally introduce you to Ethan Mitchell Wilson, grandson of the founder of Valley Crest Ranch and current general director of our operations." The looks of amazement multiplied. The shy student they had ignored and despised was the heir to one of the country's most important agricultural empires. "Sorry for the surprise," said Ethan with a serene smile. "I decided to experience university without my last name preceding me. I wanted to understand how modern agriculture is perceived among future professionals without prejudice." During the following hours, Ethan guided them around the ranch, showing greenhouses with advanced hydroponic systems, seed genetic improvement, laboratories and cultivation fields, where drones monitored the state of the plants. He explained each innovation with passion and deep knowledge, revealing a facet that his classmates had never glimpsed. "We've developed a system that reduces water consumption by 75% while increasing productivity," Ethan explained as he showed a complex drip irrigation system controlled by artificial intelligence. This project began as my master's thesis at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The revelation that he had completed postgraduate studies abroad before enrolling incognito at his local university left everyone even more perplexed. During lunch, served in the central patio of the ranch house, Olivia tried to approach Ethan, with a smile that dramatically contrasted with her previous gestures of contempt. "Ethan, I never imagined. Your project was really brilliant, but I didn't know that all this—" "Don't worry, Olivia," he responded cordially but maintaining a certain distance. "Appearances are deceiving, aren't they?" Jason observed the scene with interest. Unlike others who now sought to ingratiate themselves with Ethan, he remained respectfully apart. This did not go unnoticed by the host, who approached him while the others toured the gardens. "Thank you for your genuine interest these months," Ethan told him. "You're one of the few who approached without ulterior motives." "I recognize authenticity when I see it," Jason replied. "My father taught me to value people for their character, not for their bank account." The conversation was interrupted by the arrival of an elegant car from which descended a man with a corporate appearance. Ethan excused himself to receive him. Jason managed to hear fragments about a collaboration proposal with a biotechnology multinational. As the group prepared to return to the university, Ethan made an unexpected announcement. Valley Crest Ranch is initiating a pilot program of professional internships. We are looking for students committed to sustainable agriculture. Those who are interested can leave their information with Mrs. Wilson. Almost all the students rushed to sign up, but Ethan added, "Positions are limited, and selection will be rigorous. We are looking for people with true passion for the field, not for the connections they can obtain." His eyes briefly stopped on Olivia and Tyler, who lowered their gaze in embarrassment. On the return trip, the group processed what had happened in silence. The image of the simple country boy had vanished, replaced by that of a visionary businessman who had chosen to experience university from anonymity. "Why do you think he did it?" a classmate asked Jason. "He could have saved himself from the mockery, the group work, all that." Jason reflected before responding. Perhaps he wanted something that his last name and his money couldn't buy him, an honest perspective. Meanwhile, at the front of the bus, Professor Thompson reviewed his phone with an expression of surprise. He had just received an email from the university administration. Ethan Mitchell Wilson had anonymously donated a complete agricultural biotechnology laboratory to the university 3 months earlier. The story of the heir disguised as a common student was just beginning to be revealed, and with it, lessons that would transcend the classrooms and transform lives in unexpected ways. The following months transformed the dynamics at the Agricultural University of Arizona. The revelation about Ethan's true identity had caused a social earthquake among the students. Now those who previously ignored him competed for his attention, while he maintained his simple routine, alternating his studies with the administration of the ranch. Olivia Reynolds was experiencing her own internal revolution. The news that her family was facing legal problems due to irregularities in bourbon exports had shaken her foundations. Suddenly, the arrogant heiress found herself in a precarious situation, with her professional future in jeopardy and her financial resources frozen. On a rainy morning, after weeks of avoiding Ethan out of shame, Olivia waited for him outside the Agricultural Sciences building. "I need to talk to you," she said with a broken voice, very different from her usual haughty tone. Ethan invited her for coffee. Under the sound of rain hitting the coffee shop windows, Olivia confessed her situation. "My family has lost almost everything. The company is under intervention, and my father is facing an investigation. I had to leave my apartment and now live in a student room," she explained, holding back tears. "The worst part is that I could lose my place at the university if I don't find work to pay the tuition." Ethan listened attentively, without interrupting. When Olivia finished, he remained silent for a few moments. "The ranch is looking for someone to supervise the organic corn production project," he finally said. "It's a new program and we need people who know the sector." Olivia's eyes lit up momentarily, but then darkened with doubt. "Why would you help me after how I treated you?" "It's not help. It's a job opportunity," Ethan clarified. "But I must warn you, you'll start from the very basics. You'll work in the field with the day laborers, learning every aspect of cultivation. There will be no privileges." Olivia, swallowing what pride she had left, accepted. 2 days later, she showed up at Valley Crest Ranch with new boots and work gloves. Mrs. Wilson received her with a skeptical look. "Mr. Ethan said you would come. I warn you, girl, we work hard here." During the following weeks, Olivia's delicate hands became acquainted with the weight of tools, the burning Oklahoma sun, and the fatigue of workdays that began before dawn. The first night she cried in the small room assigned to her in the worker facilities, but gradually something changed in her. Meanwhile, at the university, Jason Carter had been appointed student representative for a project linking rural and urban agricultural universities. The nomination had come from Ethan himself, who preferred to remain in the background. "You can build bridges better than I can," he had told him. "Your life experience gives you a unique perspective." One day, while Jason and Ethan were reviewing proposals for the linking program, they were interrupted by an urgent call. A fire in the ranch's experimental cultivation fields threatened to destroy months of research. Ethan disappeared for 2 weeks, dedicated to managing the crisis. When he returned to the university, he looked exhausted but determined. Instead of seeking sympathy, he turned the experience into a practical class on agricultural crisis management and adaptation to climate change. "We lost 20 acres and 2 years of research," he explained to his colleagues, during a special session organized by Professor Thompson, but we gained invaluable knowledge about containment systems and soil recovery. What no one expected was to see Olivia among the presenters, presenting a detailed analysis of how the team had managed to save a bank of heirloom seeds through emergency refrigeration techniques. Miss Reynolds led the rescue operation, Ethan explained with evident admiration. Her initiative saved varieties that we have been preserving for decades. Olivia's transformation surprised everyone. Her expensive clothes had been replaced by practical jeans. Her hands showed calluses from honest work, and in her eyes shone a new determination. As the semester progressed, the ranch became a hub for university activities. Ethan had authorized students to conduct internships and research at his facilities, but with an unexpected condition. Everyone had to participate in a training program for elderly rural women. My grandmother Hope believed that knowledge should circulate freely, he explained during the program's inauguration. She taught adult farm workers to read after long workdays, using only an old book and the light of an oil lamp. At the graduation ceremony, the university president surprised everyone by announcing that Ethan had established a foundation to provide scholarships to young people from rural communities. Even more surprising was discovering that the operational director of the program would be Olivia. My goal when entering this university was to learn modern agricultural administration to apply it at the ranch, Ethan confessed during his graduation speech. What I didn't expect was to learn so much about humanity, humility, and the true meaning of cultivating relationships. The final surprise came when they projected a video compiling moments from Ethan's journey. From the first mockeries in the hallways to the collaborative projects that had transformed the faculty, many students shifted uncomfortably, seeing themselves participating in the initial taunts. Others were moved to recognize how their own attitudes had evolved. "I hold no grudges," Ethan stated as the projection concluded. "Every experience, even the painful ones, helped me grow. As we say in the field, there is no harvest without first preparing the land." 3 months after graduation, Valley Crest Ranch hosted the first annual alumni gathering. The once shy student received his former classmates as a confident but humble host. Among them was Tyler Morgan, who after much reflection had asked Ethan for an opportunity to redeem himself. "My family lost our avocado plantations due to bad administrative decisions," he confessed during a group chat. "Ethan not only offered me work but something more valuable, the opportunity to learn from the fundamentals." The culminating moment occurred when Ethan and Olivia jointly inaugurated a technological training center for rural women named Hope Wilson, in honor of the grandmother who had inspired the ranch's social commitment. "This center represents what my grandmother always defended. That knowledge and land belong to those who work them with respect and dedication," declared Ethan, visibly moved. In a secluded corner of the garden, as the sun set over the cultivation fields, Olivia and Ethan contemplated the horizon. "Did you ever imagine we would end up like this when I was mocking your accent in class?" she asked with a melancholic smile. "I never planned the outcome," he replied. "I just knew clearly that I wanted to meet my future colleagues without the filter of my last name. The rest simply blossomed naturally." The sun was setting behind the Oklahoma mountains, bathing the Eel, fields where generations of farmers had worked the land with golden light. Now those same fields served as living classrooms where ancestral knowledge and modern technology intertwined, erasing boundaries between the academic and practical, between heirs and workers, between past and future. The story of the heir who disguised himself as a common student had transcended anecdote to become a university legend, a living reminder that true wealth is not measured in acres or dollars, but in the ability to transform realities and build bridges between seemingly distant worlds. Dear listeners, we hope that the story of Ethan and Olivia has reminded you that appearances are deceiving and that the true value of a person goes far beyond their clothing or accent. To continue this emotional journey, we have prepared a special series about personal transformations that changed entire communities. Find it here by clicking to your left. If this story touched your hearts, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. Each week we bring stories that celebrate authenticity and the transformative power of humility. Do you know someone who, like Ethan, taught valuable lessons without showing off who they were? Tell us your stories in the comments. We'll be reading them.